So, question of the day. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Again, I am actually a psychologist. I am a licensed psychologist. I have gone to graduate school. I have my license. I've done all of the necessary trainings to have my license. So I do know mental health. I am practicing in the field of mental health right now. So I'm not just talking based off of how I feel in my humble opinion. I am actually talking based off of actual knowledge and the work I do. Also, I feel like I'm a little different. I may or may not be, but I feel like I'm a little different. Only I'm different because I didn't go straight out of college into graduate school for psychology. I spent about 9 years working in like information technology, corporate information technology. No, I was not in help desk. I did computer programming. I used to write requirement documents. I used to be a business and systems analyst. That's what I used to do. So I went from diagnosing issues in computers to diagnosing issues in people. Same function, kind of the stance that we kind of take with AI. So AI is trying to put the human brain into a computer, but unlike the human brain, a computer can hold on to a lot more information than we can, and actually they create algorithms to try to process that information. So that's how AI works. That's why AI is a little scary, because just like the human brain, when we're able to put two and two together and we can make four, and we no longer put two and two together and get three or five, we could be a little scary because we have a little bit of a knowledge base that no one can take away from us. So that's why AI is a little scary, but I digress. Why you should listen to me? Because I'm saying something that's interesting and helpful to you. That's the only reason I can think of. I am not the only mental health provider on any platform. I am not the most experienced mental health provider on any platform. I am just giving my perspective or my assessment and my educational background from a different perspective. This psychology is my second career. I plan to make videos on this platform, not just for mental health reasons, but also talking about my graduate school experience, also talking about my experience in corporate America and why I decided to get out of IT to begin with, and just overall my thoughts. So just to give you a little bit more information about who I am, I actually have a bachelor's degree in computer information systems from DeVry. Yes, I said DeVry. Let me be real clear about something. Yes, DeVry has a reputation for being a diploma mill, and that might be true. That might be true. But I also was a hard-headed child. Like I got good grades in school. I did really well in school. I did okay on the SATs without ever studying. So I kind of just went in, half woke, half asleep, and took the SATs, and I did pretty okay. So I could have gotten to any four-year college I wanted to go to, but my thought process, because at 18, don't you know it all? So my thought process at 18 was, I know it all. So let me do this. Let me go about just going to a school that I can go in quickly, because my thought process at 18 was, four-year colleges tell you that first year is for like getting you used to school and being in school. And my thought process is, if I wasn't ready, I wouldn't go. So I don't need this unnecessary year. Newsflash, that year matters. You might need it to kind of adjust to not being at your parents' house all the time. So I probably should have went to a four-year college. That might have would have gave me a different experience, but I chose to go to DeVry because, one, it said you can be done in 3 years. Two, they had hands-on experience. I am not the one that can learn from simply reading or hearing someone talk. If I don't actually do it myself, it may go in one ear and out the other, and maybe on purpose slightly, but one ear and out the other, but I don't know how to utilize it, because if I'm not doing it, if I don't actually have hands-on experience with it, I don't know what to do with it. And I initially wanted to go in, went in for electronic engineering. And although I did really well, I made straight A's that semester. Yes, I could build a circuit. I could design a circuit layout. I could do a little breadboard with the circuitry on it and make the light come on, all of that. In that moment, I realized I could give a care less or I could give a rat's hindquarters. Let's be clear, I'm a little country, and that may come out every now and then. But I could give a rat's hindquarters about how a computer turns on. At the end of the day, I just need you to turn on when I hit the power button. If you come on, cool. I can figure out how to manipulate you from there. That's my goal. How do I manipulate that computer system? Make the software work, make the computer work how I need it to work. That's why I got into computer information systems, because it's programming. Also, we were doing some database. I really like database work. I did like database work when I worked in corporate IT too. But that's what I really enjoyed. After a while of being in the corporate space, it's like, ugh, this feels draining. I don't like it. I go to work every day because the check is nice and I need to pay my bills, and I like to be able to buy what I want. So story of my life in that moment was I like the money. But then I also like talking to my coworkers about their issues more than I actually like working on or dealing with computer issues. So I decided to go back to school. And I, for a minute, was going to go for psychiatry. I did take the MCAT. Did okay on that as well. But then I realized with medical school, you have to go through all of the same training as every other physician. It's just when your specialty is something different, that's when you put a different level of effort into it. I don't want to cut anybody. I don't want to see any blood. I don't want to see any like body fluids coming out of the front or the back. So medical school was out for me. And then I was like, I want to understand how to talk to people and know I understand how the human brain works and how behaviors work and how human behaviors work. Because at the end of the day, I realized when I talked, people listen. And I'm not the type of person that likes to talk because she likes the sound of her own voice. I'm the type of person that if I am saying something, I need to know that what I'm saying is coming from a place other than my own BS. So I wanted to know that when I'm saying something to somebody, if they're listening to me, I'm telling them something that actually makes sense, that's valid, that goes based on what they're saying and not some study somewhere. And I base it off studies sometimes because we need that, but people are not manuals, people are not studies, people are people. So I need to know how I need to talk to you individually and not your whole population that you represent. So I went back to school for psychology, got my doctorate in psychology. So I don't have a doctorate in philosophy. So I don't have a PhD. I have what we call a PsyD. So I have a doctorate in psychology. The difference is I didn't have to do a lot of research. I still had to do the same clinical work. We still more than likely go over the same educational courses, but I didn't have to do the same level of research in that environment. So, and I also have my master's in business administration and healthcare management. So I got I dual majored in with my MBA and with the doctorate while I was there. And the business degree kind of gave me a break from dealing with all these emotions. And if you've ever been in a classroom with a bunch of psychology majors or social work majors or something like that, there's this almost overly positive or somewhat toxically positive atmosphere that they create, but it almost feels like a facade because you know the people behind this facade that they're putting on. So going to those business classes gave me the opportunity to kind of talk to people that I knew we're all about the money. Like, this is business. How do we make money? That is our goal. And how do we do that? That was the goal. So I could deal with some logical people that was just focusing on business, not focusing on emotions. How do we do that? That's what I needed. That's what I wanted. That's what I appreciated. Cool. It gave me a break from the psychology world. And it helped. And I got my degree in both. Graduated. Didn't get my internship that I wanted. But was able to get back closer to my family, which was the goal. Because I was about 6 hours away from my hometown, but 14 hours away from where some of my other family was and where I'd been living since like 1998. So I wanted to get back to where I had been. So finished school, Now I work with a patient population every day. I do psychology every day. I'm doing mental health work every day. This is what I do. This is what I enjoy. I actually like talking to people about, like, I like having deep conversations and difficult conversations. And let me rephrase that. I don't always like talking to people. And let me be real clear about that. I do not always like talking to people, but I like being able to help people. So however I can do that is what I want to do. So my goal here, and the reason you stay to listen, is because I'm telling you something that's helpful. If I'm not telling you something that's helpful, feel free to click off. It's okay. There is someone else out there that you can listen to that feeds that need for your soul. That may or may not be me. And I'm okay with it. And I understand. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more information about me, and then we'll start to continue to make these videos and move forward. All right? Have a wonderful day.